All right, welcome to The Explainer. The gaming world is absolutely buzzing right now, and it's all because of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I mean, for a very good reason, right? So today, we're going to suit up and really dig into what makes this series one of the absolute legends of gaming history.
But first things first, the big question, the one everybody's asking, why the huge gap? We're talking 18 long years since Metroid Prime 3 finished its story. So what in the world took Metroid Prime 4 Beyond so long to finally get here?
Well, to get that answer, we really have to look at the game's, let's call it a very long and troubled journey to launch. And look, this wasn't just a case of them taking a little extra time to polish things up. Oh no, this was a complete ground-up overhaul.
So yeah, the road to Beyond was rocky, to say the least. It all kicked off with an announcement way back at E3 2017. But pretty quickly, it became clear Nintendo wasn't happy with how things were going. So in 2019, they did something you almost never see them do. They publicly announced they were hitting the big red reset button. Development was starting completely over, from scratch, and they were handing the keys back to Retro Studios, the masters who made the original trilogy. And that one decision, that's what pushed the game back by years and led to this epic wait we've all had to endure. So you have this intense, almost decade-long wait from fans, and you've got Nintendo willing to scrap everything and start over. It just begs the question, right? What is it about Metroid that makes it so incredibly special? Why would literally millions of people wait patiently for this long? Okay, to really get to the bottom of that appeal, let's use the new game, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, as our little case study here. We're going to dissect its core design, really pull it apart, and figure out what makes a Metroid game, a Metroid game. So in the Prime games, you're playing as the legendary bounty hunter Samus Aran. But in This Is Key, you're seeing everything from inside her helmet. That first-person view isn't about just mindless shooting. It's all about atmosphere. You're exploring this huge, hostile alien world where everything is connected. You're solving puzzles, slowly, piece by piece, getting stronger, and the whole time you feel this profound sense of being completely, utterly alone. All right, let's break this down, because this right here, this is the absolute soul of the series, the gameplay loop. It goes like this. You explore, right? And eventually you hit a dead end. Maybe it's a door that won't budge or a chasm that's just too wide. So you turn around, explore somewhere else, and you find the solution, a new power-up. And that's your cue to backtrack, to go all the way back to that original obstacle. But this time, it's not an obstacle. It's a doorway, a gateway to a whole new part of the world you couldn't reach before. It's just this brilliant, addictive cycle of mystery and aha moments.
And that brings us to maybe the most important point of all. In a Metroid game, the power-ups you get, they're not just cooler guns. No. They are the literal keys to the kingdom. They unlock the world itself, and they completely change the way you see and move through the environment. And it all starts with abilities, like the one and only Morph Ball. I mean, how cool is this? Samus's suit just curls up into this little sphere, and suddenly you can roll through these tiny little tunnels and pipes. You start to access all these hidden places that were staring you in the face the whole time, but were just out of reach. And then you get your hands on something like the grapple beam, and the whole game just opens up. It totally redefines how you get around. All those huge, impossible gaps that used to stop you dead in your tracks, they're not barriers anymore. They're opportunities. The whole world basically becomes your personal giant swing set, letting you reach places you only dreamed of before. Later on, you get the space jump, and wow, it's a complete game changer. Think of it like a continuous double jump that just lets you stay in the air, flip after flip. It opens up verticality in a huge way, and honestly, it makes you feel like you're totally breaking the game's laws of gravity. And just when you think you can't get any cooler, you get the screw attack. This is where you combine that amazing mobility with pure destructive power. It electrifies your space jump, turning Samus into this lethal, almost invincible projectile. You just carve through enemies and obstacles like they're nothing. It is the ultimate feeling of power. You've truly mastered this world. Now, what's so fascinating is that this unique design, this whole philosophy, it didn't just define the Metroid series. No, this gameplay loop of exploring and getting abilities to open up the world, it became so influential that it actually spawned an entire genre of games. But before we get into that genre, it's probably helpful to just quickly place where the Prime games fall in the timeline, because it can get a little confusing. Basically, you've got two main stories running. There's the main 2D saga, and then there's the first-person Prime saga, which is a sub-series that cleverly fits right between the first and second 2D games. And that brings us to the term Metroidvania. So what is it? It's the name for this very specific formula. You've got a big, interconnected map that you can explore in a nonlinear way. Your progress isn't dictated by levels or chapters. Instead, it's all about the new items and abilities you find that let you access new areas. The name, as you can probably guess, is a mashup of Metroid and Castlevania. See, Metroid really laid down the blueprint, but it was a Castlevania game, Symphony of the Night, that came along and perfected it by adding all these deep RPG elements like stats and experience points. And there's a reason this formula is so satisfying. It taps right into that basic human desire for mastery. It takes a world that's constantly telling you, nope, you can't go here yet, and slowly transforms it into a world where you can say, now I can go anywhere. Okay, so we've talked about the mechanics, we get the history. We even know about the whole genre it created. But even all of that doesn't quite get to the heart of it, right? It doesn't capture the why, the emotional core that makes this series stick with people for decades. I think the series creator, Yoshio Sakamoto, really nailed it when he was talking about that unforgettable ending to Super Metroid. He said that the series' most powerful moments, like the baby Metroid sacrifice, they create this deep emotional connection without using a single word of dialogue. The story is told through what you do and what you witness for yourself. And I think that's really the heart of it all. At its core, Metroid is about that powerful, almost primal feeling of being utterly alone in a huge, mysterious, and dangerous world. It's about that slow, satisfying journey of empowerment, going from being scared of this world to piece by piece becoming its master. And that right there is the timeless appeal of Metroid. It taps into something really deep inside us, our own curiosity, our own resilience. And it leaves us with a pretty interesting question to think about, especially today. In a world where we are always connected, what's the power of being truly alone?